The stage is where passion meets performance, and every act is a mix of artistry and unpredictability. But for some, their final bow came unexpectedly and tragically, right in front of an audience. Today, we'll take a detailed journey through the stories of 30 performers who died live on stage or during their craft. These moments shocked fans, left audiences stunned, and etched their names in history forever. Tommy Cooper. Tommy Cooper was a household name in Britain, a magician and comedian whose antics often blended slapstick humor with actual magic tricks. On April 15, 1984, Cooper was performing live on the ITV show Live from Her Majesty's. During his act, he suddenly collapsed. The audience erupted in laughter, thinking it was part of the act. However, it quickly became evident something was wrong. Despite efforts to revive him, Cooper had suffered a massive heart attack and died right there on stage. His death remains one of the most public and haunting tragedies in live entertainment history. Dick Shawn. Dick Shawn was known for his wild and unpredictable sense of humor. During a comedy routine in San Diego, he was delivering jokes about politicians when he suddenly collapsed. The audience thought it was part of the act, laughing at what they thought was his comedic timing. Minutes passed before someone realized he wasn't moving. Shawn had suffered a fatal heart attack mid-performance. His death serves as a chilling reminder of how easily humor and tragedy can blur on stage. Karl Wallender. The name Karl Wallender is synonymous with daredevil feats and high-wire stunts. At the age of 73, Wallender attempted to walk between two towers in San Juan, Puerto Rico, without a safety net. The conditions were windy, and as he inched forward, he lost his balance and fell 121 feet to his death. The horrifying moment was captured on live television. Wallender had spent a lifetime defying gravity, but this final stunt became his most tragic legacy. Leslie Harvey, the talented guitarist for the band Stone the Crows, was performing on stage in Swansea, Wales. While touching an ungrounded microphone stand with wet hands, he received a severe electric shock. The current was so strong, it rendered him unconscious instantly. Despite emergency medical attention, Harvey died on stage, making his death a tragic reminder of the dangers of faulty stage equipment. Sid James, a legendary British actor and comedian, Sid James was performing in a play called The Mating Season in Sunderland. Midway through the performance, James suffered a heart attack and slumped in his chair. The audience, familiar with his comedic style, believed it was part of the show. It wasn't until cast members noticed he wasn't responding that the tragedy became clear. Despite attempts to save him, James passed away, leaving behind a legacy of laughter and a heartbreaking end. Red Fox, beloved for his role in Sanford and Son, was rehearsing for a new sitcom when he suffered a massive heart attack. Ironically, Fox's character on Sanford and Son often faked heart attacks as part of the show's humor. This led the cast and crew to initially think he was joking. Tragically, he wasn't, and Fox's untimely death marked the end of a career full of wit and charm. Mark Sandman, lead singer and bassist of the band Morphine, was performing at a music festival in Palestrina, Italy. Midway through a song, Sandman collapsed. Bandmates and medics rushed to his aid, but he had suffered a fatal heart attack. Sandman's death was a shocking loss for fans of his unique low-rock sound and introspective lyrics. Owen Hart, professional wrestler Owen Hart's death is one of the most tragic moments in WWE history. During a live pay-per-view event, Hart was performing a stunt where he descended into the ring from the rafters using a harness. A malfunction caused him to fall 78 feet into the ring. The stunned audience initially thought it was part of the show, but the broadcast was quickly cut, and Hart was pronounced dead shortly afterward. His death prompted sweeping changes to safety standards in professional wrestling. Victor Morrow, best known for his role in The Blackboard Jungle, was filming a scene for Twilight Zone, the movie. The scene required a helicopter flying low over Morrow and two child actors during a simulated explosion. Tragically, the helicopter lost control and crashed, killing all three instantly. The accident led to a high-profile legal case and major changes in film industry safety regulations. Brandon Lee. The son of martial arts legend Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee was poised to follow in his father's footsteps. While filming a scene for the movie The Crow, Lee was shot with a prop gun that had been improperly prepared. A real bullet fragment remained in the barrel, and when fired, it struck Lee in the abdomen. He was rushed to the hospital but died hours later. His death remains one of Hollywood's most tragic accidents. Edith Webster was performing in a play where her character was scripted to die on stage. During the final scene, she sang her swan song and then collapsed, as per the script. However, this time, the collapse was real. Tiny Tim. Known for his ukulele and quirky persona, Tiny Tim was performing his iconic hit, Tiptoe Through the Tulips, when he suffered a heart attack. Ever the entertainer, he finished the song before collapsing. He was rushed to the hospital but died shortly afterward, leaving behind a legacy of whimsy and eccentricity. John Ritter was rehearsing for a live taping of his sitcom, 8 Simple Rules, when he began experiencing chest pain. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors discovered he had an aortic dissection, a rare but fatal condition. Despite emergency surgery, Ritter passed away, devastating fans who had grown up watching his comedic genius. J.Y. Rodal, the founder of the modern organic farming movement, made an ironic and tragic exit during a live television interview on The Dick Cavett Show. Rodal had just finished boasting about his excellent health, declaring, "I'm going to live to 100. Moments later, he suffered a fatal heart attack while still seated on the couch. The show was never aired, but the incident became infamous for its grim timing. Leonard Warren, one of opera's most celebrated baritones, was performing La Forza del Destino at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City. Midway through his second act aria, Warren collapsed on stage. He had suffered a massive cerebral hemorrhage and was pronounced dead shortly afterward. His sudden death shocked the opera world, cutting short the career of a legendary talent. Molière, one of France's greatest playwrights, passed away in an eerily fitting manner on stage. While performing the lead role in his play The Imaginary Invalid, Molière, who was ill at the time, collapsed during the performance. He managed to finish the act, but succumbed to tuberculosis shortly after being carried home. His death only added to the mystique of his illustrious career. Paul Mounts was a renowned stunt pilot and actor, known for performing dangerous aerial stunts for Hollywood movies. During the filming of The Flight of the Phoenix, Mounts was piloting a plane for a live-action shot when it struck a hill and broke apart, killing him instantly. Mounts' death underscored the risks stunt performers face in their pursuit of cinematic realism. Miguel Fleta, a famous Spanish opera singer, collapsed mid-performance while singing Otello. His booming tenor voice was suddenly silenced by a heart attack, leaving the audience in shock. Despite his untimely death, Fleta's recordings remain a testament to his extraordinary talent. Jeff Buckley, known for his hauntingly beautiful voice, drowned in the Mississippi River before a scheduled performance. While not a live on-stage death, Buckley's untimely passing occurred while preparing for his musical comeback, leaving fans heartbroken over what could have been. Steve Irwin, known as the Crocodile Hunter, was filming a documentary titled Ocean's Deadliest when he was fatally stung by a stingray. The barb pierced his heart, and despite desperate attempts by the crew to save him, Irwin passed away. His death shocked the world and underscored the dangers faced by wildlife conservationists. Mike Edwards, cellist for Electric Light Orchestra, met a bizarre and tragic end. While driving to a performance, a large hay bale rolled downhill and struck his car. The freak accident took his life, leaving fans mourning the loss of a talented musician. Rock legend Chris Cornell, the frontman for Soundgarden and Audioslave, passed away shortly after a live performance in Detroit. Cornell's death was later ruled a suicide, highlighting the mental health struggles that can accompany fame. Marvin Gaye's death wasn't on stage, but it was equally shocking. One day before his birthday, the soul legend was fatally shot by his father during a domestic dispute. Gaye's death robbed the music world of one of its brightest stars. Actor Gareth Jones suffered a heart attack during a live broadcast of the television play Underground. The show continued, with the other actors improvising around his sudden absence. His death was a stark reminder of the high-pressure nature of live television. Known as The mighty Atom, Greenstein was a strongman famous for bending steel bars and performing jaw-dropping feats. During one of his performances, he suffered a stroke and passed away, marking the end of a career that had fascinated audiences worldwide. Nick Menza, former drummer for Megadeth, collapsed mid-performance while playing with his new band, OHM. He suffered a fatal heart attack in front of a live audience. Menza's sudden passing was a devastating loss for the metal community. Spanish soccer star Antonio Puerta collapsed during a live match for Sevilla FC. He suffered a cardiac arrest caused by a genetic condition. Despite being rushed to the hospital, Puerta passed away, leaving fans and teammates devastated. Silent film actress Martha Mansfield tragically died on set during the filming of The Warrens of Virginia. A discarded cigarette ignited her costume, and despite efforts to save her, she succumbed to her injuries. Her death highlighted the dangers of early Hollywood film production. Monica Pidgeon was performing in The Rose Tattoo when she suffered a stroke mid-performance. Her colleagues carried her off stage, but she passed away shortly afterward, leaving behind a grieving cast and audience. Simone Battle, a member of the girl group GRL, tragically took her own life shortly after a public performance. Her passing brought attention to the pressures of fame and the importance of mental health awareness. The stage is a place where performers create magic, but for these 30 individuals, it became their final curtain call. Their stories remind us of the fragility of life, even in moments of brilliance and applause. Let us honor their legacies by remembering the joy they brought to the world.